welcome to today's edition of Pegasus Test. On today's edition, we go into Stage 5. Man, this is a great stage. Thank you to the Finnish Armored Brigade and the allowance of use of this range that they had available, because we have not one but two CQB houses to use in this stage. Wow. Man, how often do you get to do that? And they're not just marks on the ground or barricades set up on a flat range. No, they're actual concrete floor, wooden walls, actual doorways, buildings with real roofs that you can go CQB in. So what you did in this stage is, at the starting point you had a door you had to breach, and all they did was zip strip it closed, and you had shears to simulate using a Thor's hammer or a Halligan bar or whatever to go through that and get in. Once you got in, you had targets outside the building that had to be engaged in the form of a pair of poppers. Those poppers activated a cardboard IPSC style target that popped up that had to be engaged, and as you engaged out far off on your left, you had another target to be engaged, all before you get in the building. You come through the first door, there's a big room there, there's room off to the side, it's got a target in it that you have to engage. You go through into the next room, there's targets right there you have to engage, another room down the edge, target there you have to engage, come back out into a room, go into a room that has an inner room that has two targets that you have to engage. Whew, target rich environment, and we're not even out of the first house yet. You come out of the first house and whoa, right there, another target you have to engage, and whoa, there's a target right outside the other house on the far side of the bay you have to engage. Then the other house has multiple points of entry you can choose to go in however you want. In you go, clear the rooms. There's multiple rooms with multiple targets. One of the rules on this stage was you had to use your rifle and your pistol. It was up to you when you did that. So there was no requirement that, you had to use the rifle so much or the pistol so much. You could take your first shots with the rifle and go to your pistol, or you could take all the shots with your rifle until the last one and do that with your pistol, or change anywhere in between. I went with the realistic scenario of, wow, my rifles ran dry, and I went for my pistol. Once you cleared the last building, you had a hostage target, framed, well placed with obstacles between you and it, and then just a final target of somebody who was running away from the building. You had to tag that horrible terrorist, commie bad guy before he got away. Wow. Let's take a look at what happened.
Ready. Stand by. Coming out. Coming out. Here. Coming out! Coming out!
Okay, so this stage kind of scared me going into it. It's right after having lunch, and yeah, training and competition have overlap, but they're distinct things. There are things you do in competition you would never do in real-world training or real-world operations, and vice versa. There's things you do in the real world you'd never consider doing training. And this is where it didn't mix well, at least for Les. Training scars got me. And let's talk about it right from the beginning. First one, breaching the door. You're supposed to clear it and then put the shears back on a pallet outside. I'm like, wow, I've breached a door, I'm in the fatal funnel, I've got to get through, boom, door open and shears in. So I took a procedural for that. Come right through, charge a weapon, engage the targets, somewhat on the move. I took a point to stop and plant feet to get good hits. Real world, no, you just hose those targets down until they went away, however many rounds it took. Going into the door, you can see I'm engaging targets before I've even gone into the building, because I'm through the doorway, I see in the one room, through the other room, and then a target, boom, 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 just engaged it. Cleared the target in the side room, and that's where we're breaking again from competition versus training, because in training, real world, you'd go in, you'd clean that room out. And no, it was like our walkthrough, there was one target in there, I knew there was one target, go through the door, boom, 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 boom. All right, turn around. I'm not working in a team, which is weird. Go into the other room, engage the remaining target that I hadn't engaged initially from the doorway. I know there's another room, just plow right into it instead of stacking on the door like one should properly, and engage it. And the reason I say properly is because you have to be mindful of your 180 as you do this. Your safe zone is out in the impact area behind these targets, and your muzzle has to stay pointing that way. You know, you have 90 to each side, 90 up and down. As we all know, CQB done properly in a team, your muzzle's in all directions. You control it the best you can by pointing down or pointing up as appropriate. But real life CQB, you know, 180's broken all the time. And let's be honest, if you're doing CQB fast-paced and moving, you probably get flagged and flag somebody, and only your good safety and trigger discipline prevent bad things from happening. So back to the track, come out of that last room, dash past targets I've already engaged, go into the smaller room that has a smaller room into it. You'll hear, while I'm doing this, I'm calling out clear and everything. The RO for the stage was super cool. I told him, hey, look, this will make me feel better to call this out as a safety thing. He totally understood. As I called clear or coming out, he answered back, which gave me an auditory thing to, hey, I know there's another person in this room and I know where they're at. Come out of that, come out of the first building, engage that target off to the side. Really kind of took my time aiming there just to make sure I got A zones. Then turned and engaged the target across the way. Really, probably should have done it the other way around because I saw the other target across the bay first. Approached the second building, stacked on the door, went in, visually cleared the first room. The POV doesn't quite give that. I did go corner to corner, but your eyes will shift farther than your head will shift, so the camera did not pick that up. And following along with the handhelds, in this stage, that just really didn't do much justice. The person with the camera was always so far behind for safety that it didn't really catch anything. Went in the next room, had two targets, rifle ran dry, went to engage with the pistol, which due to their rules had to be in condition 3, so come up, pull trigger, dead trigger, rack slide. That would obviously in real life, you'd go in with a hot gun, that would be faster. Cleared the next room over, came out, backtracked into the main room where you have the hostage situation, engaged the first one, but the way they played it is the way I burst in the room. There's an upright there, and it's just hard to get a clear shot. Had to maneuver, and then once I maneuvered, then maneuvered again to get the final commie running away, and the stage was over. Not exactly sure how my time on this stage compared to other shooters, but it's kind of irrelevant. That procedural definitely dragged me down. As I mentioned, a lot of training scars here. Didn't pay attention to the rule of putting the shears back, so there was a penalty for that. Definitely, since time matters here in the competition environment, did not do the tactics as smooth as I normally would. Also, CQB is, if you're doing it by yourself, wow, things have gone really, really horribly wrong. It's more of a team sport. I think the people that probably performed on this stage the best probably treated it like it was a shooting match and not a training environment. However, for training value, holy crap, do you look at the quality of these buildings that you get access to shooting this thing. Utterly amazing. I've posted stuff on my channel before. I'll put links in the end of our double wide of death and other CQB simulators we built. Nothing comes close to this. And to get access to something like that in a match like this, that is just utterly amazing. And once again, big thank you to Hatila and the Finnish Armor Brigade for making a range like that available. We hope you're finding this coverage of Hatila 22 helpful and informative. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and tune in for coverage of Stage 6 tomorrow.